Morning, community managers. It's Megan here, and I am here to train you on contracts, bids, and GSAs, and also how we are going to attach them into AVID. So by now, all of you have been trained in approving invoices in AVID. But one step that we're missing is actually attaching the GSA and the lien release. But first, I kind of want to set the expectation of the workflow and the process of getting contracts. So let's kind of go over this really quick with all of you. So community managers are responsible for submitting contracts for anything over $200 for any expense on site. Any reoccurring charges like landscaping, cleaning, security, and anything else that is a reoccurring monthly charge, if you're going to be changing vendors and or if you're going to be adding a vendor, you must submit this to the regional manager with 3 bids from 3 separate vendors. All one-time charges must be submitted with 3 bids from 3 separate vendors. So community managers are not to sign bids or approve anything over $200. Now, I know there's some exceptions that you might need to replace appliances in an occupied unit if you know you need to do a repair. But right now, until we kind of get into the flow of things, please just reach out to your regional manager and ask her if it's something you need a bid for. If it's something that has a GSA already, then you can, and you need to do a change order, again, reach out to your regional and have a discussion. But right now we're seeing a ton of invoices coming through that should have a GSA. And so for all of you that are now in AVID, if it's something that needs approval from a regional manager and needs to be signed off by the regional and or Renee, the invoice will be rejected and not paid if the GSA is not attached into AVID. So this is what we, Danielle and myself, are expecting from all of you. So you submit 3 bids into your file. So you might have noticed that, and my screen looks a little different, but you're going to go into your site, and I just attached something into Pacific Palm, so that's where we'll go. So you'll notice that Daniel and I just created the apartment regional manager folder. Your AA folder is going to go away and go into this folder along with your renewals and your Eagle training. We're doing this so just when Daniel and I are in your files, because we have access, as you can see, we have access to all of you. And it's getting to be too much to try to go to every single property into every single folder. So when I'm in here on a daily basis into Pacific Palms, I'm going to click on the folder. You'll see that this is where your pending AAs are going, and I'm going to train you really quickly on just this folder. So I put blank forms in here for any of you that might need it. Here is your blank, your training and your blank AA forms, okay? And then pending AA, so you're going to submit this into your pending AAs folder. When you put that in there, that will prompt Daniel and I to look at the AA. We take the AAs out of this folder and attach it into the accounting folder, signed off and ready to go to accounting. If you submit something to this folder and you come back in and it's deleted, that means it's being processed. Please do not attach another AA for the same thing. If it's gone, that is telling you that Daniel and I have seen it, and it's on its way to accounting and or to Renee to be processed, okay? Second, contracts. I'm going to go over that in just a second because that's what I have up on my screen. Eagle training. This is everything that we have trained on so far and will be here in this folder. Forms, any blank forms that you need, like PO log for AVID training, or when we start doing move-in checklists, renewal checklists, all of this will be within your Eagle training folder. So we're trying to make it easy and have everybody in there. Payroll, this is huge. Payroll, first and foremost, here is the newest forms for payroll. Please use these forms. Your payroll will be rejected going forward if you're not using the correct forms, okay? When you have payroll each week or biweekly, I want you to submit the payroll in time cards and put it in here with the date that you're submitting the payroll and the payroll period. Again, if you attach this into this folder and it's missing when you come in here after you've attached it, that means Daniel and I have processed your payroll, and it's on its way to Nathan for processing. Petty cash once a month. This is due at the beginning of the month. I need your petty cash forms and your receipts, all attached in one document. Again, if it's missing out of this file, that means Daniel and I have processed it and it's on its way to accounting. Now, if you need petty cash and you haven't gotten petty cash, please put your check request in here and we will send that to Nathan for processing. Mileage. As you know, this is being paid differently. This is paid out on being processed on the 5th. So please have your mileage in here. It's sent to CFI on the 5th and will be paid out between the 10th and the 15th of each month, as well as your expenses, okay? This is new for CFI. All right, and then your renewal spreadsheets. Here is a blank renewal spreadsheet form. Here's your renewal checklist. So for renewals, we haven't trained on it yet. And this form is possibly going to change. We're still working through that, but I know we've trained on renewals. So here is the checklist that you will need to attach into MRI. And here's your workbook. This is a blank workbook for you that has it, you know, if you need a new workbook. And in renewals, in the spreadsheet, you're going to attach it into pending approvals, and you'll put it in here. Once your regional manager has approved and it's in MRI, it will go into this file and it'll be on file. So should any fair housing issues come up, we have every workbook that's been approved, and or should pricing change in MRI for some reason, we have documentation of what it really should be. Okay, so when it's in the approved folder, that means it's in MRI and ready to go. Okay, let's go back to contracts. So here we go. You're going to submit 3 bids to your regional manager, and you're going to attach it into this folder. And oops, sorry, wrong folder. You want to do bids waiting approval. So say you have a roofing bid. Now, I put this in here because I know that there's 3 bids that we have. You're going to put them in here if they haven't been approved, and you're waiting for Daniel or myself to look through them and find which vendor we want to use, and or send it off to the owners to have a discussion. Once these bids, we have figured out which vendor we're going to go to. So we will then create a GSA for you, and we'll put approved bids and GSA. And so these are GSAs, and it'll be put by vendor. So, oops. The regional manager will create a folder, and let's say, you know, CalSpec is the approved. So you'll go in here, and you'll see a blank, you'll see the GSA with what was in the bid. This is what you will need to do. You will need to take that bid and send it to the vendor to get to sign off. Now, let me show you what a GSA actually looks like, because some of you have not seen a GSA, and I want to make sure that you have what you need. Hold on, I need to get a GSA that's fully signed here. 1 second. I don't have one pulled up, I don't think. Okay, well, on the GSA, if you haven't seen it, every single page needs to be initialed, and every page that needs a signature needs to be signed off, or it will be rejected by myself. Once you get the signed GSA back, you'll put it in this folder. Again, please break it down by a vendor. So put myself staff and attach it in there. Again, that will prompt Daniel and I to go in, sign it, send it to Renee, and once we have it fully executed, you'll have it ready to go. And you'll want to make sure that these GSAs are are in this folder and ready to go. You are not allowed to do work on site without a signed GSA, insurance, and lien release. Okay, so when you go into AVID now that you're approving bills, you can read through this. This is kind of just the workflow and where it needs to go. And this is going to be attached to this training. You're going to want to go in here, and you're going to want to attach. Now, I know that's not the GSA. That's just the contract. But you're going to want to attach this as well as the lien release. And then you will hit approve and send it to your regional manager. If it's an invoice where there's a GSA and a lien release that is needed to get the bill processed and it's not attached, it will be rejected and sent back to you on site. So we're trying to make sure all of your contracts are in those folders. Monthly contracts are going to go in there and be broken down by vendor as well. So as we work on your budgets this year, Daniel and I will be taking approved contracts or anything we have missing contracts for and getting new contracts and attaching them in there. We will also be taking old bids and putting them under old bids by vendor. Please make sure that you're not just attaching bids in there and they're not broken out in each category by vendor. It just gets to be too messy and we can't find what we're looking for. So when I'm looking there, I need to go back and reference fully executed contracts and or GSAs. They are in the folder and we can all access them together. I hope that this helps you all with your workflow. Really quickly, I just want to go over as well in AVID. A lot of you have been trained and I'm seeing a lot of stuff. So I want to show you what the owner actually sees every single month. So if you can see here, you see these comments is what the owner is getting on a monthly basis, right? So I want to make sure that when you're making comments in AVID, and that's in this section right here, when you're making comments, the spelling is correct, it looks good, so unit K, turnover, cleaning, right? And making sure that it matches the invoice. So the owner is seeing what's happening right here. Again, if there's no description or there's misspelled words, these will be rejected by your regional manager and ad hoc back to you, telling you to update the comments so it matches. There's a lot of questions that owners have for both Daniel and I on a monthly basis about these comments, and if they're not correct, it just creates a lot of work for the two of us having to kind of do research and figure out. So please, 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 please make sure that what you're putting there is correct, it's spelled correctly, and it looks good, okay? And just a quick refresher of AVID, click on the invoice number. You know, if there'll be no line here, but you can create a line. You put in, you know, what it is. So this one is pest control contract, the month of the pest control contract, the total amount, and so on, okay? You know how to break them out. I just showed you how to do a breakout line right there. You can use this as reference, and when it's all ready to go, you come up and you hit approve, and it will roll up to Daniel and I. Again, make sure it's coded. This line won't be here. When you get them, you just hit add. Your property number should show up. You code it based on your budgets and where your budget notes, and let me show you guys that as well. I think there was some question on budget notes and where to find them. So let's go here really quickly, and I will show you budget notes. Since I was just in Antone's financials, I will show you Antone's budget notes. So you're going to go all the way to the bottom, okay? So if there's any question on where anything should be coded, well, that's funny. There's no budget notes on this one. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. Here's your notes. So you can, if you have questions on what should be where, please read through these notes and read through where it should go on each GL. So apartment cleaning, you know, it'll have very descriptive notes for your property. You can also look in the budget. There's little notes that are created throughout the budget right here. and you can see what these are for. So please, please, please make sure you're looking at your notes and coding them where there's money in the budget. You don't want to put money or code a bill to a place where it really shouldn't be going, because we'll have to go back and undo that and or reclass later. So please make sure that you're paying attention to the notes and where stuff should be going. And if you would have a question versus guessing, just send an email to Daniel or myself within AVID. And you can do that here in comments. You can say, you know, if it's an Antone or Greg at Antone, comment and saying, hey, you know, where do you want this coded? I don't even think this is an Antone invoice. It's a Wisconsin. But I could write a comment. We can comment back and forth to each other. Okay, so if you have a question, please ask us and make sure it's coded correctly. Okay, everybody, I hope that this helps. Please follow the policy when it comes to getting GSAs. There's a lot of stuff that I'm having to now deny when it's coming my way in AVID, and that invoices are really to be processed within 7 days of the work being completed. And so that's not fun for the vendor when I go back and say, hey, where's the GSA? And they have no idea what I'm talking about. So no work is really to be completed without a GSA and or a signed contract, okay? Hope this helps all of you, and I look forward to making more videos with you. Have a good day. Bye.